Superman and Lois, Episode 7, The Man of Steel. What a great title that I wasn't expecting. So, I remember just seeing Elizabeth Tulloch talking on her Twitter, this episode is going to be a game changer. And I'm like, oh, it can't be that big of a game changer for, serialized storytelling. How are we really going to raise the bar? We've already proven we can do a lot of cool stuff in this universe. I don't know what else you think we're going to be doing. But they surprised me. They managed to completely go in a way I wasn't expecting. Just because I was so certain on what they were doing, I didn't expect to think what they could do, which is very cool. David Ramsey directed this episode. Diggle himself directed this episode. That's kind of cool to see. I mean, come on, it's the CW. Everyone's crossing over doing their thing. That's very exciting to see. I like it a lot. So the focus of this episode is about one character in particular who we'll talk about at the end here. I want to spend time on the other characters who had their little moments that weren't the main focus. We spent a lot of last episode talking about the story of John and Jordan, how they figured out to get through going back to Metropolis and getting these new powers back. And we realized that Jordan is manifesting his superhearing, and it's kind of affecting him to the point where he literally cannot hear anything. It's just like this ringing in his ear constantly. And he has to wear these special earmuffs that block out the noise. And we see throughout the episode his struggle trying to hone in on one thing, this little noise that he can pinpoint. He eventually manages to do that using the idea that it is Sarah that he is focusing on. And again, comes into play. He likes this girl. This is going to be his Lois Lane story, maybe, because there's some chemistry a brewing, a little bit of chemistry a brewing between Sarah and Jonathan. Nothing to the extreme. They just have a little conversations hey, they've both been through enough and don't really have much going on there, so maybe we'll see what happens there. Jonathan, again, surprising me in this episode, just being the sympathetic brother who's trying to do the right thing, while still having feelings of his own, and kind of being ignored by the larger world, because it's all about Jordan, it's all about Clark, it's all about Lois. Jonathan's just left in the middle to do nothing. I like that. Pretty girl at school, one of the more popular girls, starts to give Jonathan a little bit of attention. That's very cool to see. We also get a moment where we see Jordan is spying on the two of them with his honing skills, so he hears Sarah and Jonathan. They get into a fight later about it. It ends with Jonathan banging on the side of a wall so Jordan's ears ring loudly. That stuff is really great. I think it's really believable that the brothers, they fight almost every episode, but they come together in the end because they're not going to stay mad at each other forever. That's just not who these guys are. That's not how they act. And I think that's a really relatable and believable thing that works for them really well. I enjoy seeing that. I believe it. I understand it. It's very cool stuff. It's weird to me that this is the first episode that doesn't really focus on Jonathan or Jordan. We spent a lot of time with those guys in the past 6, so it's kind of cool we're seeing the rest of the expanded cast get some play here, which is kind of exciting actually, considering where this episode goes. Lana gets some more play. She is working with Lois now, trying to uncover some of the stuff going on with Morgan Edge, and she's trying to figure out, okay, Morgan wants me to hire 5 people for this secret project. Don't really know what it is, but I have to pick the candidates. One of her old friends who was kind of out of the workforce because she had kids comes to Lana looking for a job. She's reluctant to do it because of her hesitations of Morgan Edge, but Morgan goes over her head and gives the woman the job. And we see that he's doing this because he wants to turn these people into the Kryptonian soldiers that Luther keeps talking about, which is great. I mean, you're in Smallville. A prominent character in Smallville, if Martha Kent is deceased in this universe, is going to be Lana Lang. Or is it, what's the name? Lana Cushing. Do stuff with her. That's pretty cool. I mean, it makes sense to me. That's where you'd want to go. That's what I'd do too. I completely, and I just get that. I understand that's what you'd want to do. Lana, she's working really well, surprisingly. I think the idea to add the Cushing family, it makes a lot of sense because they are the small town Smallville people, and you have the big metropolis people coming in with the Kents. It makes sense that that's what you do. I like that we're focusing on Lana a little bit more here and there. I enjoy that a lot. So, the main focus of this episode, however, does manage to stay on with the character of Alexander Luthor. We see a lot of his flashbacks, which I'm okay, what do you got for me, David Ramsey? Let's see what you're going to do in the flashbacks for here. So, we do know that he was with Lois on his universe, but we didn't know that they had a kid. And this kid, she looks very familiar, not just the actress, but the style of kid. It's very Riri Williams, which we'll get back to, of course, as the thing goes on here. I'm very excited to talk about it. But I'm just okay, What are we gonna do? We get a beautiful shot as like they're just lying in bed. Their kid's like, ew, you guys are really affectionate. It's weird. I'm a kid. I don't understand romance. But outside the window, an army of Supermen are terrorizing Metropolis. A literal army. We see the reuse of the black costume Superman suit that they have at the CW. But I'm just like, that is really intense. You're going right for it. I get that. That's really cool. I'm just like, you really went for it. And it looked surprisingly good. You know, I've always been hesitant on the evil Superman arcs and those stories. Those aren't for me. I think it's just an easy cash grab to go to. It's like, oh, here's the Jesus analog who's turned rogue. It's harder to make him a likable, nice guy, I find. But it's not like it's a complex thing to do. It's just like, I get it. Everyone's got their evil Superman thing. The fact that it's a multiverse and we're focusing the main story on a good Superman does help me kind of care about this story more, especially when you got a really good lead in what that universe is setting up. So we see like news footage of Lois reporting in that universe. Alexander Luthor, I'm going to do air quotes till I say it, I know, and the daughter are watching. We see Lois get killed. We don't actually see it. Even the camera with the newscast cuts away as a Superman burns her alive. But that prompts these people, the father and daughter, to build a suit to take out some Men of Steel. And I'm just like, okay, let's see what you got for me. We're seeing a Luthor working on building his suits. No, we're not. And we'll get to that. We're building up to it because it's a big reveal that I was like, that's brilliant. Lois realizes this guy's been lying to me. I gotta figure out what it is. We see Clark sneak onto his trailer where he hears like the Captain Luthor thing. And we're like, okay, this is a Luthor. There's no blood connection. Nobody can find any information that connects this guy to a Luthor. In this dimension, this multiverse, in anything, nobody can connect this guy to a Luthor. Nobody knows what to do. So what is the next logical step? Who knows? Who is he? Who is this mysterious man? Who is this mysterious Man of Steel? I love it. I don't know if you guys like watch the episode before you watch my review or critique of it. So I don't know if I'm a little too on the nose. The thumbnail I think is a little on the nose for who this guy actually is. But if you don't know, I'm really excited to talk about it when we get there. But before that, you know, Morgan Edge is going to do like a small shipment of the X-Kryptonite headed out just so we see who comes for it. And of course, Lois and Clark come for it. Our Marcus, our Alexander Luthor comes for it. And this is when we realize, okay, our mysterious Luthor here wants to set up a meeting with Superman. And he does. And when they have the secret meeting, this is where we get the reveal. The thing that I was like, you are kidding me. I don't know why I didn't see this coming. But I'm just like, okay, let's see where this goes. So, we thought he was a multiversal Alexander Luthor. He isn't. He is a Man of Steel himself. And we see that the man he is kind of impersonating died 6 years ago. And the name of that man was John Henry Irons. And then as that happens, we see Superman getting ready to fight him. The solar lights come up, so he's weakened. And then all of a sudden, he reaches his arm out, and out comes a big steel hammer. And I'm like, you really surprised me with this one. I was not expecting a Steel cameo in this show. I'm just like, really? A multiversal Steel whose universe was destroyed by evil Superman coming to this dimension, posing as an Alexander Luthor to take out this Kal-El. Poof. That was really surprising, really brilliant, really intense, and something I was obsessed with. So the fight is fantastic. He's beating the crap out of Clark. Jordan is able to kind of hone in on the hearing of his father. Him and Jonathan head down, and ram, they just drive a truck right into John Henry Irons. And it's great. I'm just like, yes, that is so cool. And we see that Jordan and Clark are both being affected by the solar lights, so it's up to John to kind of like smash them out. And he picks up the big hammer, which makes me go, is that a little bit of a tease that Jonathan's powers are maybe manifesting? I don't know, but I'm just like, this is dope. This is great. You introduce Steel into this universe. Lois is kind of stopping Clark from hurting him and attacking him. I think she's starting to realize there's more to him than meets the eye. He's not really a bad guy. He's just trying to stop something from happening. I really like that. I really like that angle. It's really intense. So he's locked up with the DOD. We see the flashback of him building the suit again, and you're just like, let's go. Let's go. We see him put on the suit, and he leaves his daughter alone. So this is I can't confirm anything. I think the daughter is still alive. I think we are going to go back to that evil Superman universe at some point and see the daughter kicking ass as a different version of Steel. If this is the game-changing episode, I can almost guarantee we're going to go back there. I really, genuinely like that idea. I think it is fantastic. What a great episode. It just went into a different area than the show's explored before. We're getting away from the teen drama, the small-town politics. Let's focus on multi-dimensional steals. That's really cool. I was not expecting it to go there. And again, you're using your budget really well because this episode looked incredible. Better than last week's in terms of some of the fight stuff and just the way the CG worked. I'm very impressed with how the show's been handling itself, and this episode was no slouch whatsoever. It just perfectly figured out what it was trying to be and what it was trying to do. I think it was just gorgeous from start to finish. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing. So that is my review of Superman and Lois episode 7. Now thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.